Good morning, everyone. In the studio here, we have Jamie and Jen. I'll just let you say hi. And let's see, who do we have at home? Evelyn and Mary. We're doing the romper room thing again. Teresa, Ann, Jyoti, Harriet, hi. Nice to see you all. Joanne and Jerry. Lovely group this morning. That's one of the benefits of online, is that I couldn't possibly fit you all here in my space, so we still get to be together, and some of you may be lucky enough to have air conditioning in your own space, which we don't have here. So the folks who come here get the hot yoga practice. Um, so one of the things that I love about this time of year is the fullness of the summer harvest, the cucumbers and the tomatoes coming ripe. And I have my little sun gold tomatoes that are very abundant right now on the vine in my garden. So I thought I would begin by sharing with you one of my favorite poems by a writer by the name of Anne Higgins. I invite you to come into your yogic seat. To start, we'll do this as an opening meditation. So find your nice long spine. And we'll just begin to settle into our yogic seat with a little bit of letting go breaths. So whatever comfortable cross-legged position or whatever position supports that long and lifted spine. Let's take a deep breath in, fill all the way up into the chest. And when you think you're full, see if you can sip in a little bit more air through the nose. Hold, pause, feel that breath lighting up your whole being from the inside out, sparkling and tingling in every cell, and then exhale, release. A letting go breath. What needs to be released and let go so you can really land here in presence. Rooting down through the tailbone, reaching up through the crown of the head, letting the chin be level so the back of the neck stays long. Let's take another deep breath in and draw the shoulders up toward the ears. Clench the fists so the arms get really tight. Squeeze the elbows in toward the ribs. Sip in that breath, sip in a little more. Hold, 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 hold. Get really tight, 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 tight. And then exhale, let it go, make a little noise. Feel that sense of melting and releasing. Sometimes we need to do the opposite of where we want to end up in order to invite that relaxation. One more. Inhale, lift up. Scrunch, 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 tight. Clench, clench, clench. This time, clench the face. Scrunch up all the muscles in the face. Get really, really, really tight. Close the eyes really tight. Scrunch up the mouth. Tighten the jaw. Tighten the belly. Lift. See if you can squeeze the buttocks and lift the pelvic floor. Everything tight, 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 tight. Hold, hold, hold. And then exhale. And enjoy that sense of melting and softening. Let the brow soften. Let the jaw soften. Muscles around the eyes. Let the shoulders draw back and down. Heart nice and wide open. Find that sweet spot where your spine is stacked. Each vertebra beautifully balanced over the one below it. And yet lengthened enough so that there's space between each of those vertebrae. And begin to invite in some long, slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. This is a poem called Cherry Tomatoes. Suddenly, it is August again. So hot, breathless heat. I sit on the ground in the garden of Carmel, picking ripe cherry tomatoes and eating them. They are so ripe that the skin is split, so warm and sweet from the attentions of the sun. The juice bursts in my mouth, an ecstatic taste, and I feel that I am in the mouth of summer, sloshing in the saliva of August. Hummingbirds halo me there in the great green silence, and my own bursting heart splits me with life. Begin to let your breath get a little slower and deeper, beginning with that nice round belly, and then widening the ribs and then lifting the chest. A little pause at the top, no need to tighten, but just to feel that fullness, and then exhale from top to bottom, emptying chest, emptying your rib cage, emptying your belly. And at the very end of your exhale, drawing your navel in toward the spine to completely release the breath. From fullness to emptiness. With that little bit of ujjayi sound brushing the back of the throat as you gently narrow the airway in the throat. And as the ripening tomatoes take in the energy of the sun and absorb the rains and the nutrients from the earth, we also take in all of that. And we take in prana, the vital life force, through deep breaths. That's our most immediate way that we receive prana. We humans have the choice to increase our aliveness by controlling the breath, deepening and holding it. That's what the ancient yogis discovered. This precious breath that you're breathing right now satisfies your most immediate need for nourishment, for aliveness. So as you invite in those Dirga Ujjayi breaths, 3-part breaths with Ujjayi narrowing of the airway, let it fill you up with that sweet nectar of life. Each in-breath a drinking in of the deliciousness of being alive. Let yourself ripen into the fullness of this moment as the mind settles into stillness and presence. And let each out-breath be a dissolving of any armor, any holding in the body, any distraction in the mind. And in the great green silence, let the fullness of your own bursting heart split you open with love. Let the eyes open with a soft gaze, and let the breath, the next in-breath, lift the arms, reach out to the horizons nice and wide. Spread the heart, turn the palms up. In that gesture of celebration, let the hands rise to the sky, reach through the right, reach through the left, and then palms come together and draw down the center line to the heart. And in that celebration of fullness, those who wish to can join me in the sound of Om. Deep breath in. And then as you're ready, release your posture, your seated posture. You can stretch out your legs a moment, shake them out, before coming into your table pose on your hands and knees. Okay. and begin your cat-cow spinal waves. Syncing it up with the breath, keeping the breath long, slow, deep, and delicious. Here, I'll turn sideways so the folks at home can see me from the side view. Dropping the belly, lifting the tail, shoulders draw back at the end of that inhale. Also lift the chin so you open the throat. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, round the spine, chin to chest. Press into the floor and spread the shoulder blades wide apart. And as you do this, see if you can begin the wave, the spinal wave from the tailbone with each movement. So it begins with the inhale, lifting tail. Head comes up last. And hold the head up as you begin to tuck the tail and then tuck the chin under at the end of the exhale. A couple more like that. Bringing the spine into neutral, hands come forward a few inches, begin to circle your hips. Let the circles get bigger with each revolution, starting in one direction. And maybe you can even come into a little seal pose, coming to the front, sweep through child's pose as those circles get a little bit bigger. Breathe, enjoy, and explore, and then begin to circle the other way. This time, starting with big circles, and then very gradually letting the circles get a little bit smaller as you come back into stillness. Fingers spread wide, toes curl under, press down and forward into the hands. Start with a bent knee down dog. So we're focusing on the back from your hips to your hands, growing in one long diagonal line, ears in line with the upper arms. Low belly press toward the thighs, lift the hips a little bit more, and then begin to take your dog for a nice, slow, mindful walk. One heel at a time, presses down. Hips sway side to side, give your dog a little swagger, and breathe into the back of each leg as you lengthen. Let the heart melt down low. Let the hands press down and forward as if you're going to stretch your mat a little bit longer. And if it feels good here, after sending both heels to the earth, lifting through the sacrum, tilting the tail back a little bit more, you can come into a plank pose. Feel free to do this knee down if you need to. Unshrug the shoulders so there's no scrunchasana happening, and then exhale back in down dog. So take a few rounds of plank to downward facing dog. Each time you come into that down dog, invite a little navel lift in and up. And a couple more times, letting your breath set the pace. I'm gonna this a little stronger fan here. Already we got the warming up. All right. Next time you come into your plank pose, see if you can hold there for a moment. Not hold the breath, just hold the posture. Firm up the core, firm up the legs. Look under your body, make sure it's in one long line rather than having the hips sag or sticking up. So you might need to slide your feet back a little, and then knees, chest, chin. On the exhale, lower down, coming into that grasshopper pose, the grasshopper that's looking under the couch. Snuggle the elbows in, lift the hips a little more. So walk your knees a little closer to your hips. Toes curl under, and then take your expression of cobra. Could be baby cobra. Maybe you want to take it into snake, planting all 10 toes down. Or maybe you want to take it into a full cobra, keeping the pelvis rooted, the pubic bone rooted, shoulders soft, heart open. Big breath in, exhale, release. Let the forehead touch down. That helps lengthen the back of the neck. Before going on to the next pose, let's take a complementary stretch here into a cat stretch. Exhale completely. Inhale, cow tilt, and back to downward facing dog. See how your dog feels this time. See if you feel a little more opening in the backs of the legs. And then slowly begin to walk, or you can take a little hop jump, whatever way that you like to come into a forward fold, hands framing the feet, let it all hang out. Find any wiggles and waggles and movement here for letting go, lengthening the spine. Stay in a nice close fold here. So we don't want to end up doing this. If you find that you're doing this, then you want to bend the knees a little more, bring the belly close to the thighs. Hands can frame the feet, or you can use a block in front of your toes, if that feels good, to support you. Take a half lift, fingers slide up just to below the knees, flat back. Activate your core to support this lengthening as the spine telescopes out of the pelvic bowl, and then exhale, fold. Let it all go. Find some movement of the head, your yes, no, and maybe. And then bend the knees and let the arms rise like your body is making the rising sun. Palms come together, exhale down to the heart. We're going to do some standing sun breaths to sync up our breathing and our movement. So coming into your mountain pose, arms reach and rise on the in-breath, reach through the right, reach through the left, exhale, bend the knees around the spine, chin to chest. Movement, breath, and awareness, moving as one. On the next inhale, let the arms stay lifted in extended mountain and begin to reach as if you're pulling a rope down from the sky. Nice and slow. You can lean into it a little bit as you reach so that you're beginning to open up through the side body and open the rib cage. Reach up and stretch through the right side, reach up and stretch to the left side. And then again, this time bringing the opposite hand to the hip, leaning over into it a little bit more. So you get that nice half moon side stretch. And other side, reach up and over. Other hand on the hip to support yourself. Breathing into that space between the ribs. Notice if you're going into Shrugasana with your shoulders, and see if you can peel the shoulder away from the ear and release. And then one more time. This time you can grab opposite wrist, or you can come into hands clasped in temple pose. See if you can get a little bit more beautiful curve here. Inhale up to center. You're going to exhale into the side stretch, leaning into it. Body in one plane. Inhale up to center, float the arms down. You can feel all that tingling and energy in the arms. Let's circle the shoulders. Let's just start with one shoulder at a time. Rolling one shoulder back, rolling the other shoulder back. And if you want to take it into the backstroke, big breaths as you lift up, reach back, exhale as you let the arm come down behind you. Backstroke. And then crawl forward. That's what they used to call this when I used to go to summer camp, the crawl. I don't know if they still call that. Maybe it's called the freestyle now. I don't know. All right. Release. Shake out the arms. We're going to come into standing yoga mudra. Interlacing your fingers behind you, straighten the arms, spread the heart, let it shine open. Reach the hands to the back of your mat. If you need to use a strap, if your elbows are bending, then use your strap to give yourself a little bit more range of motion here and a little bit more lift, and you get a lot more satisfying stretch in the front of the chest, the shoulders, and upper arms. Big breath in, exhale, fold over the legs, keep the knees bent. Enough so you stay connected. Arms reach and rise. Head releases to the earth. And tail lifts a little more. Stay connected. And then release the hands down beside the feet. Here you can actually walk your hands forward a couple of inches so you can heel toe the feet to as wide as the edges of your mat. So they're going to line up with the edges of your mat. Come into a half lift like we did before, so you're just a little bit wider leg than we were before. And have your left fist or fingers down under the shoulder, bend the left knee, let the right hand rise to the sky. So you're going to lengthen out from tail to crown, and lengthen out from lower hand to upper hand, 2 axes of the body. Exhale, release, and take that twist on the other side now. You're going to bend the right knee, left leg is straight, lengthen out, look up if you can, or you can stay with gaze at the horizon and release, let go. We're going to take that again, this time bending left knee, keeping right leg straight. You're twisting to your right. And here, if you'd like to take a bind, reach the upper hand back behind you, back of the hand to the hip. Let that invite the shoulder to roll open. Maybe you can slip your pinky in the hip crease and grab your thigh, walking your fingers to the inner thigh. Lengthen out forward first through the crown of the head before looking up. Activate your core, navel in and up, and release. Let it all go. Take it on the other side. You want to stay half lifted so your spine starts parallel to the floor. Bend the right knee. Support yourself with fist or fingertips, or put your hand on a block underneath you. Left hand lifts up, left leg is straight. Take it into your bind if that served you on the other side. Could just be back a hand to opposite hip, or you can try to grab that thigh, give yourself a little more leverage for rotating open. Big breath in, grow long, and release. Pivot on the heels, toes turn out 45 degrees, bend the knees, roll up, 1 vertebra at a time. Stack one bone on top of the other, arms reach and rise, palms come together, and back to the heart. Heel toe the feet to hip width apart. We have done all of the opening movements of the spine, including the heart open. Just check in and see how you feel. I know it's warm, but probably feel warmed up in all ways. I'm going to do one of my favorite pranifying kriyas here, which is the breath of joy. Many of you have done this with me before. You're going to start in mountain with your feet hip width apart. And because it's the breath of joy, we want to enter into it with that spirit of playfulness, like a little kid. So bounce your knees. You can even let the heels lift a little bit in that sense of, just get that sense of bounciness and swing the arms in that playful, joyful spirit of a little kid, just excited. And then we're going to take it into 3 motions with 3 sips of air in until you're all the way full, and 1 strong exhale from the belly. So it looks like this. So you're going to keep the knees bent, fold forward, chin comes to chest. It might just be that you bring your chin to your chest if you have a sensitivity in the low back, or if you're comfortable, you can do a deeper swing, bending at the hips, keeping the knees bent enough so you protect your low back and protect your hamstrings. So find the depth of that exhale that feels good. Also find the pace of it that feels good. You can go much slower than me. If you feel dizzy, then just go back to standing sun breaths, because you can get lightheaded doing this. Feet hip width apart, knees bouncy, inviting in that joy. Inhale, 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 ha! Inhale, make some noise on that exhale. Ha! You're letting go of stagnant energy, stuck energy, frustration. Ha! Any negative mind states that block you from really being in that joy that is your birthright. So make a little noise. Ha! Inhale, 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 ha! Inhale, 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 ha! Inhale. Inhale, inhale, ha! Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, ha! 2 more. Ha! Slow it down. Ha! And slowly roll up. Usually I do that for quite a bit longer, but because it is so warm, don't want to overheat you because it is a heat building practice. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands return to the heart. And just notice that prana buzz tingling through you. Notice where you feel it. Notice if the body feels more energized, alive. I'm going to take it into vinyasa sequence now. So facing the front of your mat, feet hip width apart. If you use blocks for your lunges, you might just want to have them available to hold on to. Coming into your steady, firm, powerful mountain pose, hands at the heart. Root the tailbone down, lift the crown to the sky. Inhale, arms rise. Reach to the right, reach to the left, heart, hands, gaze to the sky, arch back. Exhale, slow dive, bow to the earth. Take a half lift, flat back, long spine. Exhale, fold, frame the feet, step back with the right foot, a leg length, and lower the right knee down. Soften the shoulders, lengthen the spine, and let the inner thighs come toward the center to support you in coming up in your kneeling warrior. Reach up through the fingertips, relax through the shoulders. If you need to be a little wider through the hands, you can do that. Find that navel lift in and up, Uddiyana Bandha, just gently rooting tail down. Big breath. Exhale, hands meet behind you. Inhale, open the heart again, Yoga Mudra. Exhale, frame the front foot, step back to plank, and take it through their connecting sequence. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra, baby, or full. Exhale through table to downward facing dog. It's fine to take child if you need that. Tilt the tailbone up and back, melt the heart down low. Step through with the right foot. Inhale, and lower the left knee down. Plant the knee over the ankle. Inner thighs come toward the center. Sweep up into your kneeling warrior. Reach up, relax shoulders, navel lift. Big breath, exhale, hands clasped. Inhale, open heart, lift the hands, reach them back behind you. Exhale, release, frame that front foot. Step up on the inhale into a half lift, inviting length in the spine. Exhale, then fold. Drop the hips halfway, release the hands, and rising sun. Roll open with the hands, palms come together. Exhale, return to the heart. Take a deep breath in and out to land here. And we'll do another sequence, this time taking it into a twist. We'll also take it into a runner's stretch too. Stretch the backs of the legs a little more. Inhale, reach and rise, arch back. Exhale, deep dive. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, framing the feet with your fingers. Step back, left foot, low lunge. Slide the hands back a little bit, and we'll come into a runner stretch. So the hips draw back, that front leg straightens. Here's where your blocks can be really helpful, either the flattest setting or the medium setting. You want to invite a lengthening spine, so notice if you have any rounding in the upper back. Firm core, spine telescopes out of the pelvic bowl. Maybe slide that right heel forward a little bit. Point and flex the foot. Breathe into that calf muscle, square the hips and shoulders to the front. And then keep the toes lifted, lengthen out, and bow down. Go for the juice in the back of the leg. Yum, yum. I'm going to just adjust my screen here. And one more breath here, lengthening out and leading with the heart, bowing down over that leg. And then rolling back into your lunge, curl the back toes under, lift up into high lunge. If you need to stay with your knee down, you can do that. We're going to take it into a twist. So press the left palm into the mat under the shoulder, arm bones stacked, and then right arm rises to the sky as you come into a revolved side angle. Power up the back leg, let the back of the knee crease lift to the sky, long and wide. Big inhale, exhale, release, frame that right foot. Step back to plank and flow it through your vinyasa. If you have energy and you want to up the level of vigorousness, perhaps you want to take chaturanga to upward facing dog and meet in downward facing dog. Press down and forward into the hands, lift the tail, low belly toward the thighs. And we're going to step through with the left foot. So any way you can get that left foot there, lower the right knee down, relax the shoulders, lengthen the spine. And then bring the hands back as you draw the hips back into your runner stretch. You can slide that left heel forward, point and flex, maybe using your blocks to support you. Leaving the toes, the foot with the toes reaching to the sky, lengthening out, and meet your edge with loving awareness. What does it feel like today? And does that edge change with each breath cycle? Maybe you notice that with each offering yourself into the edge that you get a little bit more range of motion, that the intensity of the feeling softens a little bit. Every breath, your body is changing. One more breath round. Lengthening on the inhale as you back off. Exhale, deepening, leading with the heart. And then rolling that left foot down. Curl the back toes under, lift into high lunge, and take it into your revolved side angle twist. Long and wide. Exhale, release. Step up, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, soften the knees, rising, palms come together, return to the heart. Take it into a few standing poses here, including some balance. So the next round, we're going to take it into some standing poses that will include warrior and triangle, and then we'll take it into a little balance play. Hands at the heart, how you all doing? Still with me? It's okay to sweat. Inhale, reach and rise, arch back. Big breath in. Exhale, fully deep dive into a fold. Half lift, flat back. Feel how the navel lifts and draws up in order to support that telescoping spine. Exhale, frame the feet. Step back with the right foot and spin the right heel inward 45 degrees. So now you're going to come into that side posture alignment. The feet are going to stay just like this for all these postures as you bring your left forearm to your thigh. Reach long and away into an extended side angle. If your stance is too short, your butt's going to be sticking up, so stay with a long, unbroken diagonal from the outer edge of your right foot to your fingertips here. Reach and breathe into your fingertips. And invite length through that whole side body as you press into your forearm. And then exhale up into your warrior two. Your hips are going to be facing the long end of your mat. Good. Good alignment to the feet. You can actually bring your foot a little bit more over this way so that it lines up right with the instep. Good. And that left knee is going to be right over the ankle. Get long enough so you can get down into it, shoulders over hips, nice and wide open in the heart, fingers together. Fix your gaze over that middle finger. So this is a little more fiery part of our practice. Warrior two is about intention, determination, and commitment. So bring into mind where you want to invite that in your life today. Letting the outside edge of that knee draw toward the pinky toe, so you get a nice little inner thigh stretch there. Taking it to Dancing Warrior. Nice side stretch here, reaching up and back. Big breath in. And then exhale back into your Warrior Two. Now straighten that front leg. That should feel good. Like a little bit of a resting moment here. And then from here, you can let your hands come down to your hips. I'm going to invite you to build this pose, the triangle pose, from the bottom up. Feet are in the same position here. And begin with Pada Bandha, the arches of the bottoms of the soles of the feet, drawing energy up from the earth. And as you draw that energy up, you're going to draw it up through the ankles, up through the shins, up through the knees, so the kneecaps lift and you feel your quadriceps power up. So the front of the thighs engage. Feel that lift come up through your core, up through the heart, and out through the fingertips. Body in one plane like you're sandwiched between two panes of glass. Let your left hip drop. Your right hip lifts up but rolls open a little bit so that you're counterbalancing the tendency to fold forward. Lengthening through the spine, so we don't want to be doing this kind of curved, rounded spine. You want to just stay as long as you can in the spine, opening the hands. Bottom hand can rest on the shin or back of the hand to the calf, which engages the core a little bit more. Long and wide through the heart. Open wide, and then you can play with extended triangle, which gives you a nice side body stretch, opening upper arm in line with the heart. Beautiful. Think about also lengthening out through the crown of your head, and extended triangle would be reaching your hand that way. Yes, beautiful. And then you can also play with a bind as you're in your triangle pose. Reach up and then back behind you, just like we did before. Back of the hand to the hip, or bring your hand around, palm around to grab your thigh, walk your fingers to the inner thigh. Let that invite the torso to roll open. Lengthen out through the crown of your head before looking up at the sky. Let your core support this pose. There's a golden cord hanging down. You can reach up, grab it, let it draw you up. Exhale back into your Warrior Two, wide open in your heart, firm in your commitment. Cartwheel the arms down, frame that front foot. Let's step it back. Flow through your connecting sequence to land in down dog. Knees, chest, chin, or a break in child's pose is fine. And meeting in down dog. We're going to step through with the right foot. And if you'd like to take it into a three-legged dog, lifting high first and then stepping it through, you can do that. As you come into your lunge, you're going to spin the back heel inward 45 degrees. Front knee over ankle, forearm to thigh, open up into your extended side angle. So this is about reaching beyond, expanding beyond your fingertips, out into the sky, and down through the outer edge of your foot, of your left foot, into the earth. Grow long, engage your core. Big breath in, and then exhale into your Warrior Two. Notice if you're leaning forward or folding forward like this, and bring the body into one long line, one vertical line down through the spine. Open wide through the heart. Get long enough in your stance that your front thigh can come to as close to parallel as you possibly can. And I'm going to just ask you to press into my hand right there. You feel how that aligned the knee? Excuse me. I need a little water. So come into your into your Warrior Two, and once you feel steady and comfortable, and you've touched into that sense of commitment and determination, then invite in that spirit of playfulness and joy in your Dancing Warrior. This is also called Sky Gazing Warrior, so you can look up at the palm of your hand. Keep your warrior legs here. Open and smile open through the ribs. Exhale back into your Warrior Two, and then straighten your legs to prepare for triangle. Check the alignment of your feet. Looks good over here. Square the hips to the long end, shoulders to the long end. And then this time, try bringing your hands to your
Hips. This is just another way to bring awareness to the angle of the hips. So you can feel the hips tilt and press into that thigh, press into your hip to invite a lengthening of the spine. So I'm not going down super low. If I go down to touch the floor, what happens is that my whole torso folds forward. So go as far down as you can where you can maintain that arrow-like quality of the spine without schlumping and without folding. So shoulders in line with the legs, you're sandwiched between two panes of glass. Open the arms. And remember to lift up through the bottoms of the feet, lift up through the legs, lift up, activate the core, and play with your extended triangle. Without letting the elbow bend, you want to follow those long lines of energy, reaching beyond and maybe taking it into your bind, lengthening out through the crown of the head. Looking up is optional. If it doesn't feel good for your neck, just stay looking straight ahead at the horizon. Rolling that top hip open, rolling the shoulder open, staying long in the spine. Grab the golden cord hanging down, let it draw you up, and exhale back into your warrior two. See where you can soften in your warrior two here, perhaps in the shoulders or in the face, perhaps in the attitude. And where are you invited to strengthen and deepen? Every pose gives us the opportunity to explore that juxtaposition of steadiness and ease. Cartwheel down, come back into your lunge, and step up, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, arms reach and rise, palms come together, and return to the heart. Oh yeah. We have one more round. This time it'll be a fun balance play. I'm going to give you several poses together that you'll be invited to weave together in a balance practice. And most of you know these balance poses, but you can always come down into mountain for a rest or for grounding before you come into the next part of the sequence, okay? All right, hands at the heart. Mountain pose, tail rooted, crown lifted. Inhale, big rising sun. Reach through right, left, heart, hands, gaze. Thanks to the sun, thanks to the earth. Exhale. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, frame the feet. Step back, left foot this time. You're going to be on the ball of your back foot. Rising up as you activate the inner thighs, as you press into the front foot, rising up into your balancing warrior one. On the ball of your back foot, hips squared, shoulders relaxed. Once you're steady and comfortable here, fix your gaze into your drishti point, and I'm going to face forward for a moment. I'll mirror you. So you've got right foot forward, and then open your wings into crane. From here, you can step up through mountain, or you can spring off into flight, into your crane pose. I think we've done this before. Feel free to dip your toe in the water if you want to be a crane just standing in the water, or a crane taking flight, keeping that leg lifted, softening the standing leg. Soften around the eyes, the jaw. Keep the breath slow and deep and steady. And when you're ready, you can take it into your tree pose. Feel free to touch down if you need to. Tree pose can be foot inside thigh or inside calf. Now you're powering up the standing leg. The trunk of the tree is firm, so you can press hard into that leg. Try the mudras that are fun for you. Hands in prayer, hands to the sky, opening your branches, maybe in temple pose. Or maybe you even want to bring your hands behind you in reverse namaskar, drawing the elbows back. So whatever feels accessible to you, whatever way you want to play, it's also fine to come off of your mat so that you're on the firmer surface of a floor. If it's available to you to release your tree, slide your left hand down your leg and come into preparation for dancer pose. You can do that, or just come into the prep pose for dancer and hang out here. If it's available to fold forward and kick back, bending the standing leg a little more to come into dancer, you can take that. Remembering not to open the hips out to the side, but keep them straight forward, focused ahead and down. From your dancer pose, coming back the way you came, release through crane, wrap that standing leg around to come right into eagle. Left leg wraps around, left arm wraps underneath. It's fine to have your toes on the floor to support yourself here. Lift your elbows high. Yeah. Okay, so this arm goes underneath. Yeah. Yeah, backs of the hands to one another. You can also just give yourself a hug if that's a little bit easier. We'll do the same stretch behind the shoulder blades. Lifting fingers high. And then opening your wings back into crane. Now we're going to take that leap of faith back into your balancing warrior. Palms come together, and I'm going to invite you to come into prayer twist or revolved side angle. Prayer twist, upper arm comes outside the front knee, press into the palms, roll the shoulder open, look up at the sky, power up the back leg. Beautiful. It's fine to do arm split. Release. Frame the front foot. Step back to plank. Last time, flowing through your vinyasa. If you need to conserve your energy, you can just come to table and do cat-cow. Or take a breath in child. We'll meet in down dog. All right. Once you find your way back into your downward facing dog, we're going to step through with the left foot. If you did a three-legged dog on the other side, you can take it here, heart low, press down and forward into the hands, step through, and powering up the legs toward the center and pressing down into that front leg, press back through the heel, rise up steady and comfortable in your balancing warrior one. Now you've got your left foot forward. Relax the shoulders, fix your focus a few feet in front of you. Open your wings, spring off into flight. Soften your shoulders, elegant wings, soft elbows, soft wrists. And if you need to dip the toe in the water, that's fine. Take another breath here. A little micro bend in the standing leg. And when you're ready, you can come into tree pose, powering up the standing leg, playing with the mudras that you explored on the other side. You want this to be a hip opener, so you're going to press firmly into that standing leg to let that hip open wide. I'm going to come off onto my floor, which feels a little bit better. Whatever mudras you worked with on the other side, maybe hands behind you in reverse namaskar. And then as you're ready, coming into your setup pose for dancer. Maybe this will be as far as you go, or maybe you'll take it into the full kick back and back bend here. Front hand comes into thumb and first finger, making Yan Mudra. Beautiful front body stretch and deeper back bend here. And when you're ready to release, coming back through crane to come into your eagle pose. Doing lots of, all right. Yeah, eagle wraps the legs nice and tight so that there's actually no space between your thighs. Your foot can dangle, that's okay. If you get down into it low enough, then you can try wrapping your foot around the calf of the standing leg, or use a block. Get down into it, same leg that wraps around, same side arm underneath. Lift the fingers high. All right. If you're going to do this, try to reach your hands back around behind you so you really get those shoulder blades open. Opening up into crane. Exhale, come in for a land. Actually, we're going to step back into that leap of faith. So step back into your balancing warrior when we are almost done with this. Palms come together, take it into prayer twist, or split the arms, long and wide, big breath. Exhale, release, step up, half lift, flat back, and release, fold. Soften the knees. I'm not going to make you do chair pose today. If you want to, you can sit down in your chair if you want a little more fire. It is warm. We've worked hard. Palms come together, back to the heart. Pause and feel and enjoy and breathe. All right. Yes. Come down onto your mat. Let's just take it down into a little more winding down practice. Hug your thighs in toward your chest. Rock side to side. And perhaps circling the knees if that feels good. Opening wide, just stirring the hip joint. I'm going to invite you to come into an inversion, a few moments of inversion, whatever serves you. So you might just want to straighten your legs and just bring your hands down by your sides, letting the feet be higher than the hips, lower extremities higher than the rest of your body, or placing a block underneath your sacrum, lifting legs high, or perhaps pressing into the hands and coming into your plow pose to walk your elbows toward one another. And from there, you can explore in shoulder stand, if that's part of your practice. So you can play exploring between plow and shoulder stand. Some of you might find that doing plow with bent knees is a little more satisfying. So take a few breaths here to explore in your inversion. Another way to practice inversion is to do just the supportive bridge, maybe bringing the block into the lowest or medium setting and letting the block support you underneath your sacrum. So the hips get higher than the heart, and the organs in the low belly get some of the pressure taken off of them, and some of that fluid and blood drains back toward the heart. So just check in and see what kind of inversion your body and spirit is calling for today. Take this as an opportunity to let the breath, the long, slow, deep breaths. We did a vigorous practice today on a hot day. And then bringing your feet down to prepare for bridge. I'm going to invite you to come into your expression of bridge pose. Some of you are already in a supportive bridge and might want to just hang out there. Some of you might want to come into a full bridge pose where you clasp your hands under your body and roll the upper arms underneath, bringing the shoulder blades toward one another, inner thighs toward one another to keep the knees stacked over the ankles, staying for 3 to 5 breaths here. And if you're in a supportive bridge, I'm just going to invite you to play with, can you press into your heels to lift your hips a little bit more? And I'm going to try turning this upward. Can you lift your hips? Yes. See how that feels. Sometimes it can be a little more satisfying to get that little more lift, and it's higher than you think you can go. How's that for you, Jamie, to be a little higher? Yeah. So 3 to 5 breaths here, and if you're doing an unsupported bridge and you feel ready to release, you can, whenever you're ready to release, you can roll down one vertebra at a time and take a prana response that feels good. It might be just hugging the knees and rocking side to side. It might be taking happy baby. And to release the supported bridge, I'm going to invite you to press into your feet, lift your heels so you have enough room to lift up and roll down. you have a moment to come, want to take a moment in your happy baby, drawing the thighs down toward the floor outside the ribs. Lower legs are going to go straight up and down. Maybe you're going to grab your ankles. Maybe you're going to grab your big toes. Maybe you're going to grab the inside of your feet. Press the sacrum down into the mat. And then I'm going to invite you to come into a figure 4 pose, supine pigeons, just so we can get a little more glute stretch and hip opener. So bringing your right knee out to the side, let the right, above the right ankle meet the left thigh. Thread your hands through, the right hand through the space between your legs. Clasp your fingers behind your left thigh or around your left shin. Use the elbow to press into the right inner thigh to invite a little juicier stretch, pressing that thigh away. Soften the shoulders and the back of the head into the mat. 3 deep breaths here. After your 3rd breath, transition to your other side of supine pigeon, also called figure 4. Some people call this one thread the needle because you're threading your hand through that space between your legs. Just want to make sure that the foot is completely beyond and on the other side of your thigh, so you're not pressing on your ankle and sickling the foot. As you press away with your left knee, draw your right thigh in. Go for the place where you feel the juice, and breathe and explore your edge today. At the same time, softening the backs of the shoulders, the back of the neck, the jaw, and the brow. After 3 breaths, releasing here. And take a moment to check in with your body to see what you need before coming into Shavasana. Maybe there's a twist that would feel yummy for you. Maybe you want to come into Baddha Konasana to stretch the inner thighs a little bit more. Take a few deep breaths. So take about a half a minute to have a yogi's choice moment of twist or bound angle or maybe wind relieving pose, drawing the thighs in. And when you're ready, let your body soften into an easeful Shavasana, corpse pose. And today's mantra is called the Mula Mantra. And I'm going to just let you receive that. Mula means root or source or origin. And the translation of this mantra is, O divine force, spirit of all creation, highest being, divine presence manifest in every living being, supreme soul manifest as the divine mother and as the divine father, I bow in deepest reverence. And then there's a part of the mantra, Hari Om Tat Sat. Om is the sound of Brahman, which is another name for the infinite, all-encompassing divine energy. Tat Sat is, that's the truth, honoring that as the ultimate reality. Om Sat Chitananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Samhita Shri Bhagavati Nama Om Sat Chitananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Samhita Shri Bhagavati Nama Hari Om Tat Sat 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 Om Sat Chitananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Samhita Shri Bhagavati Nama Hari Om Tat Sat Hari Om Tat Sat Hari Om Tat Sat Hari Om Tat Sat. Slowly begin to let your breath deepen. Wiggle the fingers and toes. Take an energizing stretch, reaching back behind you, reaching your feet in front of you, pointing your toes. Big, deep breath like you're just waking up, and exhale. Fold in, invite the thighs to come in toward your belly. Give yourself a nice deep hug, squeeze a little bit, and roll onto your side to transition up to a seated posture. May you all enjoy this magnificent time of year. And when you harvest, whatever it is you're harvesting in your life, whether it's something from the garden or some project that you are working on, whether it be an activity or relationship or a fruit from the vine, may it be a way to increase your aliveness, your life force, and that sense of joy in being alive. If I could, somehow maybe they'll improve the technology where I could take this and beam one to each one of you through cyberspace, like Star Trek, but can't do that just yet. So I offer it to you in spirit. And to each of you, I would like to offer. No? Okay. Can take one. They're sweet as candy, as a way to just just be with that sense of savoring, that sense of savoring life and beingness, your beingness. Let's bring the hands together in front of the heart and take a deep breath in and share together the sound of Om. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you. We'll have, for those of you who wish, a 10-minute meditation. So whatever you need to do to get yourself comfortable and set up for meditation, adjusting your posture, finding a long spine.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Those of you who need to go can go
Okay.
on with your day. I'm going to make sure you're all on mute. So lovely to practice with you. And we'll just do a 10-minute sit. And what I invite you to do before we drop into silence together is to see if you can find that sweet spot where the spine is held erect, the heart is open, the crown is lifted to the sky, the tail roots into the earth. So you're finding those that expanding into those polarities. And you're finding a steadiness with minimal effort. So it might be that you can experiment with leaning forward just a little bit and leaning back a little bit, or just playing side to side, and find the place where the rib cage is beautifully balanced over the hips with minimal effort. One of the essential teachings in the Yoga Sutras is that our seated posture should be steady and comfortable. In Sanskrit, stiram, sukham, asanam. Yoga pose should be steady and comfortable. So if we have too much steadiness, too much efforting to stay upright, then we don't have the sense of ease or sweetness or comfort. If we have too much ease, then we go into slouchasana and we lose that alignment of the spine, and that alignment is essential for your life force to flow. So see if within yourself you can touch into that sense of the perfect balance of steadiness and ease. Allow there to be an ease in the muscles in the face, an ease in the shoulders, an ease in the hands. Find the mudra that is comfortable for your hands to rest without pulling the shoulders forward or using any effort in the arms to hold them there. And once you find that place of steadiness and ease, begin to notice the sounds around you. Just allowing some expansive awareness in the mind to touch into the soundscape within which your own breathing is held. your own breathing, part of that chorus, joined by the cicadas and the birds. Maybe the hum of a helicopter overhead, whatever it is that you notice. Notice the sensation of your bottom and your legs on the support beneath you. The air enveloping your skin. Notice where you feel the awareness of breath most prominently. In the belly, in the throat, at the nostrils, or maybe in the whole body. Maybe you can sense your whole body breathing. Just let the mind gently and easily rest on that rhythm, that sacred pulse, bringing us our most immediate nourishment and extending our lives for the next few moments with every in-breath and out-breath. And when the mind wanders, appreciate that as a moment of awareness. Thought or distraction, thinking, whatever it is, you can name it and gently return to the awareness of your breath. It's as simple as that.
Namaste. Thank you for joining me today.